All right. We good to go? Cool. So my name's Frederick. I'm here on behalf of Momentum Digital and Phone Repair Philly. So I run two different companies. I'm co-founder and managing partner of Momentum Digital. We do SEO, PPC, web design, development, that type of stuff. Based in Philadelphia, obviously, and I'm going to get into kind of my experience and talk a lot about SEO, but I want this to be informative but interactive. You guys probably have a lot of questions about SEO because, I mean, it is just a behemoth and it's constantly changing, but it directly affects and impacts everything we're doing, our bottom line, the money we make, beating our competitors. So we got to figure this stuff out. Feel free to jot down my information. I think I met a lot of people last night. I ran out of business cards, rather embarrassing, but jot this down. It's also on page 30. I would strongly suggest you follow through in the playbook just because it provides more information than you're going to see on the screen, and it also might be hard to keep up with me. I just want to make sure we cover a lot of different things because inherently this is important to what we're all doing and what we're trying to achieve. My goal today is to help you better understand SEO and how it relates to your business and what you're doing, because we're all in this together. And my phone's going off, don't worry about that. Should I take this real quick? It's a phone repair. I actually went out on Broadway last night to honky tonk and dropped my phone and cracked the screen, so I don't know if anybody can help me with that. No, I'm just kidding. So, quiz, name this company. And I'm gonna ask a couple questions throughout this, keep it interactive like I said. So read here, started in Michigan, 2006, Apple iPod docking company by these two guys. They've grown it over the years. They focus on charging cases, and they've had a Super Bowl commercial last year worth over $300 million in revenue. Who's the first to say it? Claim it. Cool. What's your name? Andrew, that's correct. So throughout this, I'm going to ask questions. If you answer it, basically you can just get a free hour SEO consultation with me. We'll answer whatever questions you need. Doesn't matter. Both you can have it. So this is one of the first companies I ended up working with when I was at Google. I was on the AdWords pay-per-click upselling team, like upselling everybody spend more money, try digital ads, try YouTube, try this, try that. They were spending a lot of money. I didn't feel like I was doing my clients justice by continually upselling and making them spend more money, even though that's what I was like compensated on partly. I wanted to have a bigger picture conversation. We talked a lot about SEO and started developing a strategy with that. I don't know if I was supposed to, but they ended up trusting us more and ended up spending more money anyways as they grew, but this is one of the first companies I worked with. Congrats on that. Today's agenda, who am I? Why am I here? Why are we here? 5 steps on improving your SEO and getting to the first page. That's where we want to be. SEO checklist, 10 steps. And then 10 SEO tips for local repair businesses. That's kind of like my niche, what I've been dealing with for a while. Comparing this to life, and then giving you guys an actual like case study, showing you how this can work. Cool. So who am I? Zoolander. All right. My name's Frederick. Went to Penn State. Got involved with entrepreneurship. Started like a painting franchise management internship. It was kind of a disaster, but I got my feet wet, got my first taste with entrepreneurship, and this is, what I was born to do. That's what I was meant to do. Come from a family of, I guess, entrepreneurs, small business owners. So those are the people whom I want to help. Those are the people that I trust, that I want to talk to. As far as the entrepreneurship, so I had the painting company, and then I started a party bus company, which was really interesting. That was more so fun than making a lot of money, but learned how to build websites and do all sorts of digital marketing, guerrilla marketing, all these different things. Then I started an entrepreneurship club. As president of the club, and I was helping students who wanted to be entrepreneurs, learn the things they needed to do to grow their business. I guess my first real opportunity to grow my own business was with iCracked. Shout out to Anthony and Paul. So a friend of mine was one of the first technicians within iCracked, and essentially you can build your own brand, your own company around iCracked, and they send you leads, and it's a good opportunity to make money and to do something on your own. My buddy was running it, actually fixed my phone a couple times, and he got an internship with them out of headquarters. This kid, Austin Nixon, showed me how to repair one phone. That phone was my phone, and I did not repair it. It did not work afterwards, but it was a learning opportunity. And then watching some of their training, going through that process, I learned how to repair phones, and then I started an actual company out of it. So I started Happy Valley Repairs, used a lot of SEO tactics, digital marketing, grassroots, got interns, social media, did all these different things, and grew it into a legit business and was making, a lot of money as a student in college, and meeting a lot of sorority girls with their daddy's credit cards. So that was nice. Grew the entrepreneurship club, got really involved with other startups, started a watch company, Vortic Watches. I suggest you check it out, really cool watches. Got some seed funding, tried to grow that company, was doing SEO tactics for that. And all this is while I was still studying advertising, business, and entrepreneurship at Penn State. I was really busy at the time. Then I graduated, just kind of wanted to settle down, get a job, as a lot of people were telling me to do. But sold iCracked, or sold Happy Valley Repairs, and then stayed as CMO of Vortic Watches, and got a job at Google right out of college. So I moved out to Ann Arbor, Michigan. I was on the AdWords team, working with some clients like Mofi. But it was mostly small business owners, entrepreneurs, some repair companies in there. I could have talked to some of you for all I know, but essentially 200 to 300 clients every quarter, spending a couple grand on AdWords just because they didn't understand what SEO is, what it does, how you don't need to be spending all this money on AdWords. And even those who were spending money, they weren't spending it wisely. They were wasting money constantly on bad clicks, bad keywords, bad placements, bad ads, no conversion tracking, no ROI, just throwing money at this machine that we call AdWords. And who am I to say that they shouldn't keep doing that? Let's focus on SEO. Well, I feel like I wasn't providing them the value to grow their company. I was seeing entrepreneurs and business owners fail. I was seeing them lose their businesses, lose their houses, lose everything, because they were wasting money and just not going about this the right way. That's the why. That's why I got into this. That's why I left Google. I was still part of Vortic Watches. They took the company a different direction. I sold my equity in that company. I also, while I was at Google, started another repair company because I knew how to do that. I was comfortable with that. I wanted to make more money. Got to the top of local search in that town and kind of built a business around it. Left Google because the reason I just mentioned, and I wanted to move closer to home, friends, family, moved to Philadelphia, and I wanted to first just get into consulting and help these people who didn't really know what they were doing. From that, it just kind of grew from there organically. Made a lot of connections, went to trade shows, conferences, and been talking a couple different places. I started this company, Momentum, with a friend of mine. He's more on the web development design end, and I'm more SEO, PPC. So, we've been doing this for about a year now. I've been doing SEO and digital marketing for 5, maybe 6 years now. And it's constantly changing, and we'll get into that here in a second. So it's gonna get a little more technical from here, but ask questions throughout. Seriously, stop me, raise your hand, ask a question, and we'll stay on that until we figure it out. So what is Google? Well, what's that?
Just laughing at point number 2, I like it.
Right. So Google's a massive company, Forbes 1. So, but Alphabet is what search is. You know, that's core search. Sundar Pichai is CEO of Google. Larry Page is CEO of Alphabet. That's what makes their money. That's what grows their, you know, their investors, you know, their stock, and that's what, you know, AdWords provides them. So there's 3.5 billion searches every day. Unreal. There's 40,000 this second. Throughout this presentation, there's probably going to be 144 million searches. So just wrap your head around that. 1.2 plus trillion every year. Mobile is growing. So if you have a repair shop, I'm sure you've noticed, smartphones, be mobile friendly. We'll talk about that. Other search engines, I don't know what that means. Are there any other ones? What the hell is SEO? You know, what is this thing? Basically, it's organic search traffic from keywords and doing what we can to get to the top of organic search and not having to pay AdWords. So quiz, I'm not sure why that's cut off there. How many times has Google updated search algorithm per year? Anybody want to throw a number out?
Over 400 times, 400 to 600 times per year.
You get 2 free hours, my friend. Well done. So yeah, constantly updating. So essentially, almost twice a day that it's being updated. So how do we keep up with that? What do we do? What can we do? Seriously, why SEO? What's the importance of it? You know, to me, it's saving your business. To me, it's improving your bottom line. To me, it's about ROI. To me, and to you, it should be about not having to pay for placement. It should be about organic growth and doing what we can on our own and with others who can help. So paid versus organic, if you haven't seen it, you know, paid's at the top. It used to be on the right side. There's no more ads on the right side. It's usually 3 or 4 at the top and then at the bottom, depending on your industry and where you're located. And the search volume and competitors determines the cost per click. It also depends on your quality score, page rank, a lot of different things. The future of local SEO. Now, this is what I've found very interesting recently. This is changing more so than you know, the broader national, bigger SEO. So the future of local SEO I see changing more drastically. I see them getting involved more with the knowledge panel, like knowledge graphs on the right side. Basically, Google's trying to use machine learning to predict and give us the best answer at the fastest and most relevant time. And it's doing that using this thing called RankBrain. And now, you know, I think it was an acquisition of this company called Pulse. But what Pulse is, or what it will be for local businesses, essentially you can make an update, and I'm assuming it's going to be on your Google My Business page, but I'm not positive yet. There's a lot going on there too, where you can make an update or say something live, like a special, and it'll have it promoted within the knowledge graph, which is really cool. As far as competition, like I said, industry, competitors, what they're doing, what you're doing. And just keeping an eye out for what's going on in the industry and staying on top of that. It's constantly changing, so I'm always researching, I'm always looking up new tactics, and you guys should be doing the same. So this is a graph of organic search on the first page. Nobody here probably goes past the first page unless you do SEO. I go past the first page. I'd say if you want to go past the first page, something that you could potentially do it for is backlinking opportunities. So you could go on like the second or third page and see what other, if it's not like a local business website, see what's there. See if it's a local publication or a news outlet. See if it's a website that you could, or a blog that you could link to. Just see what's out there. Losing real estate for local. We're losing it. The knowledge panel, the ads, they're taking up all the space. The local listings are taking up space. You're not going to see your website for local repair search until, you know, it's not going to be in the first half of the page. You just won't see it there. So you need to advertise, and that's what Google's forcing us to do. And we suck at it. We do. Not me, but probably most people in this room, and just to be blunt. 5 key steps for getting on the first page of Google. Let's get into the nitty gritty here. So it starts with your website. I'm sure you all have a website. If you don't, you should probably get one. Now, your website comes to one-page SEO, then we're going to talk about the Webmaster Search Console, local listings, off-page backlinking, and then we'll talk about reputation management. To me, these are 5 key components. Follow through in the playbook. So your website, one-page SEO. Probably sounds familiar. What is this? This is your metadata. This is your HTML. This is your title, description, your keywords. This is following Google's guidelines, following what Moz says, following some of the biggest players in the game as far as what they say, what to do, tagging things, making sure your website communicates with Google effectively and other search engines. Just talk their language. This is a machine. This is coding. This is algorithms. You got to fit into what they're trying to mold. So why do that? Why communicate? Because so then they can read you, they can index you, they can crawl you, they can better understand you and give you a better organic rank. They want to be friends with you. Just make it happen. So how do you do that? How do you make that happen? There's a lot of different resources online. I have a resources tab in the playbook, like a bunch of resources. You can work with an agency or a webmaster. There's a lot of different things you can do. You can follow that or you can hire somebody. So the Webmaster Search Console, this is where you submit your website to Google. There's a couple different ways you can do that. It's showing ownership, showing that this is your site, and then having them crawl and index your site. And then there's a lot that has to do with in-betweens there. So why do you do this? Obviously so they can crawl and communicate with you and index your site. How do you do that? Same thing. And that's the website to go there. You can do it for other search, for like Bing and Yahoo as well. This is kind of what the dashboard looks like. So if you sign in there, and then if you break down each one of those columns, like search appearance, search traffic, you just want to go through this one by one. You want to take care of your errors, like 404s, put in some redirects, geez. Just take care of your search console, clean it up, make sure you're doing everything right. Follow some YouTube videos, forums, talk to some people. This can be done. I mean, it sounds super tricky if you don't know anything about it, but it's possible to fix this. Local listings. So I've seen a lot more to do with local listings, especially Google My Business. They're changing a lot. They actually just opened up another partnership program for agencies and photographers because they want local businesses to be more widely recognized, and they want them to have optimized listings with like good updated pictures and like 360 videos, all the updated contact info, make sure that's relevant and consistent across the board, and just be in here constantly, respond to reviews that you get. Why do we do this? Because we want to be relevant and consistent in the eyes of Google. We want to make sure we're providing them, good resources for the people looking for what we have to offer. So you can hire somebody, but for local listings, you can do a lot of this yourself, or you can use aggregators like Moz Local, Yext. There's a couple things out there that you can use. You got to pay to play, but it takes a lot of hassle off of you. Any questions for 1 through 3?
How do you, how do you interview a webmaster or someone who claims to know how to do SEO? Because you got different ranges of education level within it. How do you know that they're not just scamming you? They say, hey, I know how to do SEO, and they only know how to do.
Right. It's a really good question. I'm sure you guys get called all the time, like, oh, we'll get you ranked to the top of Google. It's like, how will you do that? What are you going to do for me? I hear it every day, man. So it's a good question. I guess you could use this playbook. You could say, well, what are you going to do steps 1 through 5 here? Like, how are you going to do it for me? You could take this and put that in front of them. You could ask them for referrals, like, oh, give me like 3 names and numbers of people I can call you did that for. Let me see a portfolio of some of the clients that you had, and maybe you can reach out to them. But it's a good question. I'd probably use one of those tactics. Here's some of the local listing and citation directory sites. The main point of this is to have your information accurate and relevant across the board. You don't want to have, Google My Business have a different address or phone number than Yellow Pages or Foursquare. You want it to be the same across the board. And it's a little tricky, honestly, because you might need to do some of them manually because of how they have the address or phone number. Like some will spell out street and the other ones will have like ST period. And that's like weird to Google. So make sure those are updated. If you ever move or change your number, just stay on top of that. Backlinking. Backlinking's crazy, I know. So this is what I call part of off-site, off-page SEO. So this is like a popularity contest. Getting other websites to point to your site. Make sure they're credible and valid. You want websites with high page rank, so PR, high page authority, PA, and high domain authority, DA. So those three things are important. If you're getting a backlink from the Wall Street Journal in an article compared to like a blog that just launched yesterday that talks about nonsense, obviously it's going to have higher authority, more popular, and Google's going to recognize that and give you a boost in your organic SEO. So you want to anchor text your backlinks. You guys know what that means? What's that mean?
It means that you're actually going to have a clickable link with time.
Exactly. So you want to have keywords in your backlink. It's kind of difficult to get, honestly, because if you're just submitting to directories and like all these easy submissions, you're just going to have a link to your site. And so if all the backlinks to your site are just your domain or part of your domain, Google's going to be like, that's a little scammy. Like, why aren't people anchor text backlinking with iPhone repair Philly? So you want to get some anchor text backlinks. And so you can do that with like blog submissions, different like article submissions, different syndication tactics. Why do we do this? Credibility, how, some of these options. And just do some research, but a lot of this can be difficult and time consuming, so you probably want to talk to somebody because there are a lot of scammy artists, agencies out there. Number 5, reputation management. This is the easiest one. This is your Yelp, this is your reviews, this is your social media. Be active, stay active, talk to your customers, talk to your people who wrote you a review. There's like some examples of what we do. Like, we don't have any bad reviews, and if we do, we just talk to the people and ask them like how we can help. So that's pretty easy. You can do that on your own. 10 additional SEO tips. This is a checklist. And this is all proprietary to me. SEO, there's no one-size-fits-all solution. But I found this to work for my businesses, my clients. And keep in mind, local SEO is different from national SEO because that's a bigger ball game. So research competition, like I was saying, just like check out other websites, other links, see what they're doing, check their metadata. There's different tools for that. See like second, third page, see what directories, see what blogs you can get on. Quiz, what's an alt tag?
Well, it's information about the image, like for screen readers and things like that.
Mostly, yes. We'll see.
I'll take a stab at it. It is text that is attached to your photos or your graphics that the search engine can actually read. So it would be like meta tags.
Yeah, you're both basically right. It's an HTML tag on the picture. So for this one, it could be like learning how to code or something as like the tag on the picture. And if you like hover your mouse over it, sometimes you can see like what the picture says, like the description of it. So tag your pictures, tag your content on your site. That's important. We'll talk about that. So the 10 tips, Google accounts. Just get these are all Google products. You can have all of these. You can have the same account. I say get one master account. Use like Google Apps for work. And just use one master account and just set up an account for all these different products using that same email, and use that email across the board for like your Gmail, use it for your analytics, your tag manager, your Google My Business, all your different accounts. Local keyword research, you can use the KEI, the Keyword Effectiveness Index. That essentially takes different keywords related to your industry and compares them as to how many people are competing on those or using those keywords for SEO. And then based on the score of the keywords, some will have a higher score because less people are using it, but there's still a lot of people searching for it. Does that make sense? All right. Network link exchange. I just call this like networking. Talk to other people if you know other businesses in your local area, be like, hey, let's throw a link on each other's site. You have a friend who runs another business in the area. See if you can throw a link on the site and vice versa. It'll help each other out. Just make sure his website doesn't suck. Make sure he's got good page rank. Blogging, photos, get a blog going. WordPress, most common. You could use Blogger by Google, Tumblr, different options out there. And photos, do your tagging of the photos. Use Google Picasso, upload your photos there, and then Google can actually crawl and index those photos and have them in Google Images. Or if you just tag them on your site, Google can also index those photos. 6 through 10, videos. So I don't even have a YouTube account, but I just know that iCracked has one, and that helps them. So whenever you do a search for, let's say, just iPhone repair on Google, all the different tabs at the top, there's different options. Like, it's not just search results. Like, you have image results, you have video results, you have news results. All those could have links and credibility to your site. And so you could use that. You can use that to your benefit. Like, have YouTube videos, have them tagged, have all the descriptions, all the data, all the information in that video. Use keywords. Article submissions. This is for, let's say you want to write a blog about repairing iPhones and you don't know what to do with it. Like, you could have it on your blog, or you could offer to write for somebody else's blog. A lot of times blogs, they don't always have everybody in-house, so they'll let other people blog for free just to get a backlink back to their site. So submit your blog to other blogs or article submission sites. Press releases, kind of the same thing. Write something cool about your business, like some giveaway or charity event or something cool going on, and share that with news outlets, online, different sources, and see if they'll put that on their website, see if they'll talk about you, and make it worthwhile for them. Link baiting, that's a funny term. It's just reciprocal linking. Putting links on blogs, like commenting on a blog with your link if it's something relevant, or commenting on a friend's blog, something like that. And even though I've been talking about advertising this whole time, sometimes the unfortunate part of this is you sometimes have to pay to play. If you're not even on the first page right now, you're not going to get there overnight just by doing this stuff. If we follow these guidelines, so steps 1 through 5, 6 to 12 months, you will be on the first page. But in the meantime, what do? I would suggest using AdWords. It does help in one way to use AdWords. Actually, 2 ways. So how AdWords can help you for the organic side is it's going to drive traffic to your site, which means like you're getting more traffic, you're more relevant. And Google's going to look at that traffic and say, okay, well, they're getting traffic. And then it's also going to help you focus on your page rank and your quality scores, which is going to help you fix the content on your pages, which is going to help your organic ranking as well. With Momentum, we're a premium Google partner, which means we have all the help and resources we need from Google, just with the amount of clients that we have for pay-per-click. So plus means we took all the tests and got certified. Mobile strategy. Mobile is so important. If you're not mobile friendly right now, it's too late. No, it's not too late, but optimize your website, make it mobile and responsive. If Google can't crawl it, and if you look like that on the left, you're in trouble. Make it so it's responsive. It needs really good page speed. People are just so impatient, and Google realizes that. If your website takes too long to load, and that happens. Like if you switch new hosts, I know we just switched to new hosts, so it's like you got to talk to them, make sure it's working, or just cleaning up some of the content and media. If you have a lot of JavaScript or a lot of video on your website, you're going to be kind of penalized for that. Micro moments. There's a lot of statistics if you want to look up Google Insights on micro moments, you're going to see a lot of cool information about data on users and smartphones. It's like 80% of smartphone users searching locally have local intent, meaning they're not searching something with like national intent for like an e-commerce or whatever. A bad mobile experience can cost you customers. They might not come back to your site. People leave websites right away. If there's no call to action, if it takes a while to load, just make it easy for people to find your site and use it. Question, what % of smartphone users are willing to solve a local service problem like within the repair industry immediately after searching? There's no way anybody could probably know that. 92? I wish. Anybody else want to take a crack at it?
74.
Close enough, you win. 62%. So if they're searching at that time, they find your website, they want an iPhone repair, 62% of those people are like, let's do it. Let's make it happen. So make sure your website's good and right, make sure the price is right, and it will happen. 10 tips to optimize your website. Are we good on time? All right. So, does anybody have any questions real quick as I take a drink? I'm sorry, I'm like getting over a cold.
I have a question for you. So I participate, I think there's several people in this room on forums where you have shop owners, managers, just kind of talking shop on a regular basis. And the conversation about reputation management comes up a lot.
Yeah.
Should you respond to reviews? And what I've heard is that the review response can actually be part of your aggregate that helps boost your SEO. Have you heard that confirmed, or is that rumored? What's your opinion on that?
Definitely. Good or bad.
Yeah.
Like good or bad review, respond to it. And just be nice, like don't tear people up on a review. But yeah, for sure. Good question. So 10 tips to optimize your website for SEO. These are just guidelines that I would go by. Choosing domains. So this is like kind of tricky. If like wherever I go, I choose a domain that uses the keywords and uses the location. Like my domain's Phone Repair Philly. It's going to be hard not to show up for organic results. Linking Google accounts, like I said earlier, use the same Gmail or the same like main email for all the accounts. It makes things easy. If you don't like using the same password for all the different ones, like that's why you can use one Google account and use the same password. Optimize your Google My Business, like I said, pictures, videos, content, information, relevance across the board. Google Plus, even though like nobody, raise your hand if you use Google Plus at all. Overwhelming majority, not. So use it as a business. You don't have to use it as like yourself, but use it as your business. Just stay active on there. There's some like aggregate syndication social media sites that I wouldn't totally suggest, but if you're short on time and you don't have like a social media manager or staff, you can use like a third-party publishing that boosts it out across the board. There's a couple different options out there for that, like a Hootsuite. If you just don't have time for it, but you want to be active on there. You want to have like some links and some content. Google appreciates that because they're not completely giving up on Google+. Submit an index. There's different options for this. I usually go with either Tag Manager or Analytics, but you can also go through like a host linking process or HTML, like adding a tag on your website process. And then if you want to be indexed faster, if you're setting up a new site, submit a sitemap. This just kind of like gives like an outline of your site to make it quicker and easier for Google to index. Adding and tagging media, pretty explanatory with the pictures, the alt text. You can do that for videos and different content you put on there as well. So this is within the Search Console on Google. Like that would be the meta name you put for the site verification. If you use, raise your hand if you use WordPress. Okay, cool. Fun fact, there's, what is it, 80 million websites out there using WordPress, 80 million. 25% of the websites across the world are WordPress sites. Started out as a blog and it's just taken over. It's kind of open source. There's a lot of different plugins and features to make your lives easier. Strongly suggest WordPress. They're not paying me to say that either. But We use WordPress a lot for our agency. For SEO, use Yoast. If you've heard of it, use Yoast. And there's also like Yoast Premium, Yoast Local. Just makes your life a whole lot easier instead of like having to go in and manually tag and do the HTML, metadata, all that stuff. But then the rest of this is pretty self-explanatory once you have that set up. There's plugins for this to make it easier too. 6 through 10, on-page linking. You can link with keywords. You could have like iPhone repair on your homepage, and that link could go to an iPhone repair page also on your site. So Google likes that. Outbound links, you could link to another website. Make sure it has like a higher authority than yours. So you could link to, you know, a Moz article if you want to talk about like SEO. Content syndication. This is when you basically take someone else's information or something, the content that they came up with, and you kind of like reformat, restructure it, but you give them the credibility. You tag them and link to their site. Rich snippets. So this is pretty big within Webmaster tools. Does anybody know what rich snippets are? Not everybody at once here. Rich snippets, they're what you see there. They're what you see right there. So it's providing more information to Google so that they can show people to give you more credibility, and it's taking up more real estate for your organic listing, like your organic presence on Google. So it can be pretty tricky, honestly, but I would try to follow some videos on it. Schema markup for local is important. So this is like geotagging your site and making sure Google realizes like where you're actually located with some rich snippet code there. Blogs and PR. We don't do much blogging and PR, you know, but I would strongly suggest you do and just like go through it like a networking process, share your content, share other people's content, do what you can there. Questions? I know there's got to be questions. Real life comparisons. Anybody watch these shows? Fresh Prince, Saved by the Bell, classics. To make it really easy, I would just compare it to popularity, like compare it to high school. You know, sometimes the coolest kids were well-dressed, well-spoken, well-known. People like invited them to parties. They hung out with the right groups. They're athletes. They're smart. Like they were just doing everything they could. It's kind of like doing the same for your website. Like make sure you take care of your metadata, like how you look. Make sure you backlink to the right people, like you know the right people, you're invited to the right parties, you're involved in the right groups, everybody knows the same information about you across the board. And it is similar if you look at it compared to this. And just networking, you know, you compare this to steps 1 through 5, it kind of makes sense. So that's an easy way to look at it if you want to compare your website and organic presence to like a popularity in high school or whatever. Case study, I'll leave you guys with this. So thank you again to Michelle for putting this together. She reached out to me, cold LinkedIn message, but it was nice, it was actually warm. So I was like, well, let's do a case study starting now. Like let's talk to a repair company and provide you like real world example. So she gave me a couple people to choose from, and I reached out to Bill Slater with Quick Fix, smartphone and tablet repair in New Jersey. He wasn't close enough to be a competitor to me, but you know, reached out to him. We've been working on it for 2 months. It's a slow process. It's a gradual process working with small businesses. Like you guys have other shit you got to worry about. Like there's a lot going on, but you want to start a conversation. You want to talk to the right people. You know, I usually start out with an audit. So I didn't really charge him for much of this. I made it in a way where we did this together as like a learning process, and I use it as a case study. And if there's something that's like too in-depth, too involved, that he just can't do or can't understand, he would pay me to do that. So we went through an audit and a discovery phase. We had like weekly call, talked, you know, consulting, and we just like hacked away at it together. And you know, so far we've just fixed some of his local listings. We've gone into the Webmaster tools. Make sure we're taking care of the errors there. And we've talked about reputation management. He's taking care of that, you know, working on the review side of things, the social media. We still have to fix his website. It's got a lot of on-page SEO needs. These are one of those things, it can take so much time and so much effort, but if you want to do it, you should. It's going to pay off in the long run. And we need to do some backlinking with them, which is, in my opinion, the hardest part. We don't focus too much on backlinking. That's more so like something that you can do or what we can provide you like consulting advice for. But you can also hire like other agencies to do that. This is his Moz local score before and after. So I'd say that's a pretty good jump in 2 months. And you can see here his organic search from, and this is from April. This is from February to March of this year. His organic search has increased 97%, which is incredible, and his bounce rate decreased a couple percent there. So it works. You just got to do the work, put the time in, and you're going to get results. And you know, who knows how much money that translated into him for? But you know, twice the reach going to his site, so probably twice the amount of calls in business. And there's the results as well. Bunch of resources. I'll open up for questions. Like I said, the playbook has all these different resources. I hope this was helpful. You know, check that out. I'll leave my information up here, the last slide. You can schedule time with me or just like send me an email. I'm glad to help you guys out. That's it. You can clap it up. You can clap it up. It's all right.
The do-it-yourself website builders like Wix, are they good for SEO, or is there anything you can do to help SEO? They sort of have certain tools.
Yes, some of them have like certain tools and plugins. This is kind of a shameless plug, but I would use Weebly. I got started on Weebly. It's like really quick and easy, like drag and drop. So I got started on that like 5-6 years ago. It was started by a Penn Stater, so David Ruzenko, I knew him pretty well. A couple years older than me, so I would always use that. I was kind of grandfathered in. And there's like a settings for SEO, and you can just put in your metadata there, and you can do it like for individual pages. You can hack into the back end for HTML and CSS, but Weebly, Wix, I don't know about Squarespace. I've never used that. There's a bunch of them out there. But I would just check to make sure they had the right plugins or additions for it.
Somebody like me, I don't know much about this kind of stuff. I want to know what my page is ranked. How do I go and see, how do I have any idea what my page is ranked?
For like a certain keyword?
I mean, earlier you said something about Google rankings or something like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of different sources where you can check like your page rank. There's even like Chrome extensions. If you go into like, if you use Chrome, you can go into settings and extensions, and you can download certain extensions that give you like your page rank, page authority. Honestly, I would just Google it, and you can find out what you're ranked for really anything. Moz Local do like your local rankings, like your percentage score, and then you can hire them. I think it's like $90 for a year, and it's an aggregator, shoots out all your like local business info to like the local citation sources. So there's a couple options for it. Honestly, I'd probably have something in here for all that. Moz SEO checklist, reputation management, local listing sites. If not, just take my email down. We'll figure it out. Yeah.
Is there anything you can or should do to help like the SEO of like your social media, like Facebook, in terms of showing up on Google search results?
It's a good question. You know, Google works with Twitter a lot more than they used to, so I would just be active on all social media. Like if you want to use an aggregator or whatever, and just post it that way or do it individually. I know, like for Facebook, if you use a third party and post to Facebook, that's not really going to help you. They changed their algorithm. I think it was about a year ago. Facebook changed its algorithm, so if you post it from a third party, you would get like half the reach that you did if you posted organically directly on Facebook. This guy I knew was making, he's not a smart guy by any means. He was like this 40-year-old that got really lucky, like bought a couple pages, grew these Facebook pages, and was posting multiple times a day. He was basically doing like link baiting stuff, like getting people to click this post, and it would go to another website, which he would get paid for the traffic. He was getting like 300 grand a month, this guy. And then Google cracked down on the algorithm because he was using like third parties. Now he has to post them all individually, and they're still cracking down if you're taking people away from Facebook. So I would post and engage with Facebook as much as possible, and also like network on Facebook, which sounds weird, but like other pages, comment on other pages. It takes a lot of time. You can hire a social media management company. But yeah, I would just say be active. Yeah.
Have you done anything with Facebook data advertising?
I have, not too much. We don't really focus on that, but yeah, it's something we have done. Yeah. Honestly, like Facebook ads is kind of taken off. Like it's not a bad medium for advertising anymore. If you're going to do it though, I'd say know what goals or actions that you want to shoot for, because there's different types of ads you can do on Facebook. You could do clicks to your website, or you could do like event promotion, or likes to your page. There's different options. So find out what's going to get you the best return long term, and then make sure you have like a good design image, like something good that people want to see and engage with. What I've seen work really well is I had a friend who became a client, and we did kind of a giveaway where it was like a really good image, like really cool picture, and people had to either share the post, or they had to like the post and the page, or they had to tag 3 people on the post to get entered to win in this contest for like a free pair of skis. And it was incredible. Spent like $100 on it, and the reach that it got was just unreal, because there's like 400 shares, so it reached thousands and thousands and thousands of people.
Like in my business, I will post them on Instagram and then also post on Facebook. Is that considered a third-party post?
If you post on Instagram, and Facebook owns them, so it's fine. There's no problem with that. And you can advertise through both now if you link them up. If you do a post through Facebook's ad manager, you can connect it to Instagram and advertise through there. Any more questions? We good on time? Nice. Yeah.
For the shop owners that are looking at this list going, man, this is really big and overwhelming.
Yeah.
Can you point them in a general direction or focus? Where are they going to get the biggest bang for their buck? Is it number 1, 2, and 3 on your list, or where would you recommend they start?
It's a good question. I've thought about this, and honestly, I'd say 1 and 3. So if you look in the playbook, 1 is your website. So it's like you don't want to focus on the other stuff before your website's okay. So make sure you take care of your website first, especially your metadata. So if you're not communicating with them the right way, you're like shooting yourself in the foot. So take care of it's like your title, and it's what you see, like it's a lot of different stuff, but it's mostly like the title and description of your website. If it's too long or doesn't make sense and it's not relevant, then Google's not going to look at it in a good way. So just take care of your website first, and then take care of your local listings, because they're having a bigger presence on the local listings now.
I just got an email this morning from a company that I've been working with for a few months now. We built our website, doing our SEO marketing. Maybe when you're done, you can take a look at this weekly email that I get and help me understand it better. We're paying around $5,000 a month for SEO right now.
Okay.
Right now, phone calls are probably $2 to $3. No, I'm sorry. Clicks are $2 to $3, and phone calls are like $10 or something. We break down on that.
You're talking AdWords or SEO? Because that sounds like AdWords.
Or AdWords, AdWords. But when it's all said and done, our repair revenue has not increased over the past 3 months. Why?
You should. You see my email there? Forward that to me. Forward that to me. We'll talk. $5,000's a lot of money.
How long should you start, how long does it take to start seeing, when you do an ad campaign, AdWords or whatever it is, before you start seeing results on people coming through?
Oh, with AdWords, you should see it right away. If you do it the right way, you'll see it right away. But there's so many ways people spend and waste money. I've seen it hundreds and thousands of times. People just wasting money on stupid clicks. It's like you don't have one negative keyword in your negative keywords list, you're going to get spam all day. People don't even understand there's different match types within AdWords. So with SEO, it's going to take a couple months. I got on the first page of the last 2 cities I was in. Sorry, I'm fighting this cold, but last 2 cities I was in like 2-3 months. But it should take anywhere from 6 to 12 if you follow this the right way, and you just like don't take forever. Yeah.
Earlier you spoke about the social media, and time is equal to money as well. When you're talking about these third parties where you can post on one and then they post on multiple, I just heard you say Twitter, they're starting to get, a rhythm going between, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter with Google. But is it a true statement that even though it takes a little bit more time, you can't beat organic posting? Is that a true statement? Like, it takes more time, but do you get more?
Here's what I would suggest to everybody. Interns, unpaid interns, social media unpaid interns. Go to your local college, your community college, put up a job posting. People will do it. Like, that's not like engineering. Like, you have to take an unpaid internship if you're going into communication or marketing. And they will do it. And you can have them do it organically instead of the third parties. So that's what I've done in pretty much every business I've had.
Pay scale in mind, you know how much, if you didn't do an intern, you had to pay someone. What kind of, is that a minimum wage job? Is that a $10 an hour job?
I don't know how to answer that question. I'd say it should be minimum wage. It doesn't take a lot of insight, but we don't do social media management for my agency, just because we don't want to have to be the voice of your company. Like, you want to say what you want to say. So it's tough to even, I don't know. I'd say maybe $10 an hour. Yeah. Yeah.
With the idea of creating content, when you talk about blogs, with a blog, like if you're going to do a video blog from multiple episodes, do you feel that there's different platforms that are easier to reach people, or do you feel like YouTube is the best one and then just organically post it to Facebook? Because I know the videos are a little bit different from Google.
It's a good question. We'll have to talk about that more in detail. I'd take my email down. Don't know off the top of my head, but definitely anything like YouTube's a Google product, so you definitely want to be on there. Anything Google product, YouTube, Google+, and then like the bigger social media outlets, you want to be on there. As far as blogs, like WordPress is a good blog. Yeah, let's talk about that.
Is that a Vortex watch?
No. Vortex watches are like $1,500 to $2,500, so I usually only wear them if I'm like going out somewhere nice. I don't take care of my things very well. But if you want one, 10% off. Cool. We good? Email, phone number, let's talk. Thanks. So next to the stage we have Catalyst coming up, and I'll get off of here for you.